Hello noble people, my name is the Noble, and in this video we are going to be talking about Papyrus, a character from Undertale that is noticeably absent from Deltarune, which I'm all sure you guys know, but I kind of want to go over why Papyrus is absent in Deltarune and how we might not see him until later in the game or might not see him at all. There are a couple theories that I want to go over. Some of them are my own personal theories and some of the ones are the ones that the community has made. However, I do need to lay out the background of what we do kinda know about Papyrus in Deltarune. We only have two instances where Sans talks about his brother. In chapter 1, he asks if you can come over and spend time with his little brother. He doesn't specifically say what the name of his brother is, just that he wants you to spend time with his little brother. And in chapter 2, when you ask about his brother, he says it's unfortunately that's gonna have to take time, we don't know when, and he has the joke with the 2 years. And then obviously when you knock on Sans' door, you get the iconic phrase where it says the distant trousel of bones. And that is kinda it when regarding in-game stuff related to Papyrus, which isn't really even technically related to Papyrus, as it's never explicitly said his brother Papyrus, just his little brother or his brother, so it might be not Papyrus, which I don't really know if Toby would do that. I think it would be kind of funny if it's just a random character who's also named after a font. However, we do have a couple instances of some kind of hints at where Papyrus might be, or if Papyrus might not appear in Deltarune, and that is in the Steam page and also the Q&A that happened a little while back before chapter 3 and 4 released. On the Steam page, it states, meet new and endearing main characters as well as some familiar faces like Toriel Sans Asmore, huh? Papyrus? No, he's busy. Sorry. Not only is it stating that Papyrus is seemingly busy within Deltarune, but it's also kind of like it gets cut off as the Sans or Toriel Sans Asmore, huh? Like it gets cut off, like Toby was interrupted while he was typing it out, which very obviously he wasn't. So it's an interesting way to word it. I do know some people do not like to take what the Steam page says as fact because there's some kind of jokiness in the Steam page, and a lot of people also don't know if to trust the one ending question mark with the Steam page, because a couple people do think Toby's trying to lead us along, but I will say Toby's not Scott Cawthon. I don't think he's going to state something and that not be the case, so maybe this is just confirmation that Papyrus is busy. At least right now, he could change it in the future, but as of this point, we've had this kind of tagline for around 6 to 7 years since chapter 1 dropped, so I don't really know if this will change anytime soon, maybe towards the end of the game with chapters 6 and 7, but we'll just have to wait to see. At the end of the first Papyrus Q&A, someone asks, what was your life before you moved into Snowdin? And Papyrus says, before Snowdin, well, there was a bunch of green grass, and then Sans cuts him off saying the shower is free, and when Papyrus asks Sans to finish the question, Sans just says sure and then ends the Q&A, kind of like trying to push aside whatever Papyrus said. And this is where it kind of leads into the theories we have for Papyrus in this video, as back when this first released, a lot of people were using this as confirmation that Sans is from Deltarune. In the underground in Undertale, there are not many places where there are grass. There is stuff at the beginning of the game when Frisk first falls down into the underground, and there's stuff towards the end of the game. There really isn't any actual grass in like Snowdin Waterfall, even in Asgore's castle, it's just the flowers. There's not really any like actual green grass like Papyrus describes. However, in Deltarune, there is green grass. So this led to people believe that Sans is from Deltarune as well as Papyrus. Now, whether this is the Sans he went back to the Deltarune world after Undertale, or this is a younger Sans, is kind of up for debate, which is also kind of where this theory kind of splits into two possible directions of where Papyrus is in the Deltarune world. If we assume that this is Papyrus and Sans from Undertale that went back to the Deltarune world world, it does kind of explain a decent amount. If they went back from their previous world and Papyrus is kind of a shut-in recluse, it's probably because all of his friends that he had in Undertale now don't know him suddenly. All of the friends that he did have don't know him, he doesn't know anyone. Even Sans is acting weird and feeling like everything is fine when he was kind of thrust into this random world and doesn't know what is going on. However, for a story standpoint, this makes Sans kind of seem like a more bad brother, which I do like and do dislike. We don't have actually too much character development as Sans. He's still kind of just the mysterious character that's kind of there. It's not like a very in-depth and involved character like Susie would be, so maybe we will get development with Sans and Papyrus about that topic. But in the case for them being younger, this would mean that Papyrus would be probably like a baby. If he didn't remember what they lived before Snowden, this would mean he would have to at least have some kind of memory issues or be too young to understand where he lived. People also have made the connection to say that this is a possibly younger Sans because he actually moves around a lot. At the end of chapter 4, we obviously have the infamous scene with him dancing with Toriel. He even waves his hand to say hello to Chris and Susie, and he really doesn't move at all in Undertale, so people were saying that he's happy and he's moving around, while as in Undertale, he's more chillaxed because he doesn't care as much, which... okay, I do get that, but at the same time, this could be an older Sans that came back, and that's why he's moving around, because he's actually happy. But that's kind of getting into a huge can of worms with just Sans, and this video is obviously supposed to be about Papyrus. And I do want to kind of go on a little bit of a tangent with Papyrus Knight, because this was actually one of the few people that I actually personally thought could be the Knight, just because I like Papyrus. And that is the idea that he is trying to make the Dark Worlds and stuff because he wants to try and get back to how things were in Undertale. It's actually an interesting story. Obviously, we now know that the Knight is its own entity, most likely Des, maybe Carol, but we'll just have to wait and see. So, now that we got to this point in the video, what do we have? We don't really have too much. We have ideas that Papyrus is from Undertale. We have ideas that this is maybe a younger Papyrus, but what is actually going to happen with him in the upcoming chapters? And that is where I think we're going to get stuff with chapter 5. Now, this is most likely because we are going to see some new characters in chapter 5. Now, obviously, we're going to see new Darkners and whatnot, and we think Asgore is going to be a big part of chapter 5. I obviously made an entire video on that. However, one of the big things is people think that Sans will actually now play a big role, and if Sans is there, Papyrus might be there as well. My current theory right now is the idea that we're going to get in chapter 5 a segment in the light world, obviously, with the festival. Susie and Noelle will go do their own thing off screen, and we'll be kind of put on just spending time with Papyrus. Now, I know this is a little bit far-fetched, but hear me out. The idea that Asgore is going to be jealous by Sans is a common idea that people think is going to happen in chapter 5, me included. However, I will say, Asgore just being jealous at Sans spending time with Toriel doesn't seem like it's going to be enough for him to open a dark fountain and become a main antagonist of a chapter. I feel like it's going to get to like a breaking point where it's a bunch of different tiny things or even a bunch of different big things all combinating into one thing. And one thing that Asgore has made clear is that he wants to try and put the family back together. Family time. I want to spend time with Chris and Azriel when he gets home from college. We want to try and fix the family back together. So us spending time with Papyrus in the festival, maybe even Sans and Toriel are with us, that's probably going to break Asgore to the fact that Sans, Papyrus, Toriel, Chris look like a family, while he can't rebuild the family he once had, and that is the jealousy that will come in the Dark World of Chapter 5. Now, is this a stretch? Yes. Is there, like, facts and basis? Kind of, but only the fact that Sans is spending time with Toriel, and we know that there's going to be something related to Asgore in Chapter 5 with a garden charred with jealousy. So there isn't too much to show. But I really do feel like this has some merit. And I also do feel like it's interesting that Papyrus just hasn't showed up at all. Especially with the door, each time you knock on the door, it says that the Trowzel grows distant and distant, which means like Papyrus is trying to separate himself even further, and Sans might give him like a push. Like if you ever had a parent be like, you can't stay inside all day or whatever, you gotta go outside, enjoy the air. Sans might do that to Papyrus and try and convince him to come to the festival. I know this video has been a little all over the place. This video was just kind of trying to be a little video. I'm currently working on another bigger video about all the kind of wish list stuff that I want to see for the rest of the chapters of Deltarune, but it's taking a lot longer than I thought it was, so I decided I might as well do something about a topic with Papyrus because he is my favorite character from Undertale, and I kind of didn't really know what to talk about in this video, so I kind of threw together my own personal theory kind of at last minute. I know this video was all over the place, but I did hope you enjoy it, but it's going to be about it. Stay noble, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!